into dumbbell workout routine number 3 for July. You will need at least 1 dumbbell. I'm going to show you this first exercise with a pair of dumbbells. And so what I want you to do here, the first exercise is going to be a Romanian deadlift. So these weights are going to be at our side. And what we're going to do for this exercise is we're going to push our butt back. We're going to keep our back straight. We're going to do this all within our comfort and control, okay? When you get to the top, so this is the bottom, when you get to the top, I want you to squeeze your butt at the top. So you should really be feeling this in your hamstrings right here. And when you get to the top, you should feel that in your butt. If we get to some position like right here and our hamstrings are really tight, that's fine. That's the range of motion that we'll work with. So a good rule is, again, I say this all the time, make sure everything's done within your comfort and control. If anything is bothering you, it's important we're going to stop. You can reach out to your care team and reach out for me and ask for some modifications. So that is going to be your A1. The next one that we're going to do is a wide squat. So what I'll actually have you do is either hold 1 or 2 dumbbells right in the middle like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to squat down just like this. So we're actually going to bend our legs more, okay? And so what we'll do is we will be doing 10 of these. I'll show you from the side. And for this, try not to let your knees go too far forward, okay? Especially if you do have any kind of knee pain. We don't want our knees to track too far forward. We're actually going to think about sitting back a little bit more for that wide stance squat. So those are our 2 together. It's the Romanian deadlift, and then it's going to be the wide stance squat. So get those done for the prescribed number of repetitions that we have in the plan, depending on if you're in week 1, 2, or 3, 4. It should be like 10 or 12. And then we'll move on to our next series of exercises, our B-based exercises. After we get done with our B-based exercises, we will be on the floor. So our first B-based exercise, hold the weights on each side, it's a calf raise. Just gonna come up on the balls of our feet and then lower back down under control. Coming up on the balls of our feet and then lowering back down under control, okay? So that's the calf raise. We'll be doing this for either 10 or 12 reps. And then what we're going to do is a lateral raise. So standing up straight, going straight up just like this, okay? And you might be using different weights for these 2 exercises, okay? And it's fine if you use different weights for any of the exercises. So you might be doing more for the Romanian deadlift or for the squat that you did before than you would for your lateral raises. So that is going to be our B-based exercises, and from there we're going to take it down to the floor. I'm going to lower this camera down a little bit. And so what we're going to do for our B-based exercises is, number 1 is going to be a Russian twist. So for this, I'm going to be okay if you want to keep your feet on the ground, lean back a little bit, and what we're going to do is we're going to go 10 on each side. You can change this up by lifting your legs up a little bit off the ground. If you want, you can even hold a weight in your hands for these exercises. So it's going to be 10 on each side if you're in week 1 or 2. And then you are going to grab your weights and we're going to lie down. We're going to do skull crusher. So for the skull crusher, it's going to look just like this. I'll show you seated. We're going to be in this position and press out like this. So bend your elbows and press straight out. So we're lying down and going straight up just like this, okay? And so that's our skull crusher. We'll get done with our prescribed number of reps. And after that, we'll go back to our Russian twist. And again, if you can rest between these 2 things, go back to the Russian twist and the skull crusher for however many sets you end up doing. Our next set of exercises, the D-based exercises, is going to be a dumbbell pullover and then a dead bug. So for the dumbbell pullover, what you're going to do is, let's just take 1 weight and hold it at its side like this. And arms are going to be just very slightly bent. Keep your low back on the ground when you do this. And we're just going to go over like this. Okay, keep your low back on the ground. And we're just going right to this position. We're not going to go any further than that. We're just going to end right here. This is our starting point. And then that's our ending point, okay? So after we get done with that, just put the weight down, legs up in tabletop position, and we're going to do a dead bug. I'm just going to have you go 1 leg at a time. We're not going to necessarily worry about the arms. We're going to go out, right leg, out, left leg. When you do this, try to keep your low back on the ground. If it's hard to keep your low back on the ground, reach up a little bit higher, okay? So we're reaching up higher. The lower you are to the ground, the harder it is to keep your low back on the ground. So pick a position where you feel your core working, but you can still keep your low back on the ground. So those are our 2 exercises. You can put your legs back down, rest, go back to that pullover exercise, and then wrap it up with the dead bug again. Again, if you're doing 2 or 3 sets, that is entirely up to you. Take your rest, and then once you finish that, you are all set with your dumbbell routine 3.